Hi guys, how you doing? I hope you are fine wherever you are. Um, I'm fine. I'm doing good. Pretty good, I would say. I thank God so much for having you on Chipanga Mazano. My name is Memory Gonisa, your host. I thank God for you being on this platform. Honestly, we don't take each and every one of you for granted. Why? Because we know that you are family and you are supporting us. You are taking time to listen, watch what we are doing, and we just pray that we continue growing and learning from one another. To those who subscribed, we want to say thank you so much. Thank you for that commitment. Yes, you remember last time we talked about having commitment in our relationships. So we want to thank you so much for that commitment. And to those who haven't, we kindly ask you to subscribe so that we may grow and learn from one another. We know we have a lot to learn from you, and we want to learn from you. Let's make use of the comment section whenever we feel there is need for us to clarify on certain issues that would have raised on this platform. Kindly indicate on the comment section, and also maybe when you feel you want other people to learn, kindly share with other people. Also, that like button, you can click it to indicate that indeed we are together and you are loving what we are posting. Yes, so we are back with a wonderful topic. Today we want to talk about boundaries. It's very important to set boundaries whenever we find ourselves, wherever we find ourselves in. So we are saying we should set boundaries. Very critical element when it comes to relationships. I know many people always take or think boundaries as maybe a brick wall that we put to push people away from us, but that's not the case. For me, I take it as a gate, where you can define or maybe pinpoint to say this is where I am ending and where the other person is starting from. That's in simple terms how I can define a boundary. I am marking my limit, not necessarily to block people away from me. There is no way I can be, alone, live in isolation. I believe that we are social beings. We need one another, not just for us to be, interacting only, but there's something that you have that I don't have, and vice versa. So definitely we need one another. So there's no way I can block people. There's no way you can block people. There's no way you can block individuals or entities, structures, organizations from you, unless and if they are toxic. Whatever that's good, everybody would always want to be associated with them. So it's very critical to understand that boundaries should be set to protect ourselves. I remember one time when I was talking about relationships on another platform, I was saying, you know what, when I'm setting a boundary, it doesn't mean that I'm not worried. It doesn't mean that I am worried about what you are going to bring into my life. It's always about me. Why? Because I know myself and I know what I want, and I know what I want it to be in my life. That's why now we say I should create a boundary to protect myself, everything that's within me. I'll take the analog, maybe an example of a fence. Everybody builds a fence. Not just a fence, but also maybe these days we are talking about the CCTV. Yes, we put the CCTV. Why do we put the CCTV, those cameras? Why do we put a brick wall? Why do we put a fence? Why do we that? Is it because of the people outside? No, it's not about the people that are outside, but it's about the things that are within me, that I want within my property, right? Within my structure that I want to protect, right? So This is exactly what we should do even in relationships. We are saying, yes, I want you to be in my life, but I look at my life, I look at my vision, my goals, my ethics, the things that are within me. So these are the things that I want to protect. That's why I see myself coming through and building these boundaries, so that I may protect. I don't want the things that are within me to be contaminated. I don't want things that are within me to be stolen. I don't want people to bring bad energy within my life. That's why I set up boundaries. So we are encouraged to set boundaries to protect that which is within us. In as much as we protect ourselves, we know now and create the parameters, the levels at which we interact with people around us. Right. It helps us to also see how we can interact with people. I mean, yes, we have people, this is just but an example, that we maybe dated long time ago. Now that we are married, or maybe there are people whom we did business with long time ago. Now we moved, our business has evolved. I mean, do we really need to continue talking with those people the manner, the way in which we were talking with them? I mean, during that time when we were, doing that business, that kind of business. I mean, definitely no. So boundaries now come into play, help us to define how we can relate, interact with these people, maybe that we were in business with a long time ago, even the current business partners. Or yes, we also need to set boundaries, see how we can interact with them. We talk about time in terms of different boundaries, when and how we should talk with people. I mean, 12 midnight, people just come in and they'll start talking. I want us to talk about the business. I mean, 12 midnight, it doesn't make sense. So it's very important for us to set these boundaries in terms of time. Very critical. This is when we should do our business. This is when we should talk about certain things. I mean, as children, parents, we also need to have that time, moment to sit down with our children so that they know how to set boundaries in their lives. We do understand that these days we are in the digital era. We are in a global village, interact with people from all corners of the world, but not everything that we take in is very good. So we need to sit down with our children, help them to create boundaries in their lives in terms of the times that they see themselves on their gadgets, the times they see themselves, interacting maybe with their colleagues, friends, also the times to do their work, all those things. I mean, school work, maybe different projects that they are in. We need to help our children to also set boundaries. They are very, very critical. The girls that are still growing and the boys that are still growing, we also need to set boundaries, parameters, how we interact with people, boys to boys, girls to girls, girls to boys, girls to boys, all those things. We need to set boundaries. Why are we doing that? We are trying to protect ourselves. So many heartbreaks comes whenever we interact everything. I mean, whenever we allow anything and everything to come into our lives, we see ourselves in heartbreaks. So at times, setting boundaries, it's very, very important. It protects us. It helps us to allow good things and block bad things from our lives. Remember, we always say that all the relationships that we find ourselves in should add value into our lives. It shouldn't subtract anything. So boundaries are there to help us, define and ensure that there is nothing that's bad that's coming into our lives. Yes, we know some are not, you cannot block them. It's quite inevitable. But then you try by all means to put a limits, protecting ourselves. are we setting boundaries? Yes, I always come with this question after I after I lecture. I always want to pose questions. Do you have any boundaries? Are you struggling setting up boundaries in your relationship? Be it your business, be it in your church, be it in your family, at school, your project. I mean, are you struggling to build strong boundaries so that you may protect yourself, so that you may protect your project, so that you may protect your business? If ever you are encountering any challenges, indicate. We can help one another to set boundaries so that we may have good relationships, so that we may have good projects, so that we may be healthy. Yes, it's all about us. We want to be in good relationships. So setting boundaries helps us to understand how we interact with other people, and also to safeguard our hearts from heartbreaks, safeguard our projects maybe from being attacked by opposition, yeah, like competing, yes, from competitors or something like that. So yes, I think in the next episode, it's very good that we talk about how we can set boundaries. It's very important to set boundaries. So yes, in the next episode, we are going to talk about setting boundaries. Yes, this is just but the introductory part of it, of setting boundaries. Very, very important. One critical area that we should venture into in our businesses. We should set boundaries in our families. We need to, in the church, we need to, with our siblings, we need to set boundaries. Everywhere we find ourselves in, we should set boundaries so that we know where to start from and where to end. We also don't want to bring bad energy into other people's lives. Setting boundaries, it also helps us to protect other people or other entities or other organizations that we find ourselves interacting with. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We pray that you got some insights from this discussion. Let's keep the conversation growing. Let's keep it burning. Let's keep it alive, so that yes, we may learn from one another. Thank you so much. May we continue interacting, sharing, liking, subscribing. Thank you for being here. Till we meet again. Have a blessed day.